And today we're going to be ranking all of the seasons of The Flash. Now, this is one of my favorite TV shows, so I'm excited to finally rank the seasons with you guys. So, coming in last place is going to be, unfortunately, Season 7. Now, this is most people's last place, and it's last place because there's not much good about it. Since the unfortunate of Season 6 with happening of COVID, we couldn't get the finale to Season 6, so they just tack it on as the first 3 episodes of Season 7. And a finale to something else to start off your thing is not really a good way to do your season. And then they also followed it up with one of the worst plot lines in the entire show of the Forces and having Barry calling them like their children. That was terrible. I liked Godspeed as a villain, but still, it's not a very good end to the season, but it definitely is the best part of the season. So it unfortunately goes in 8th place. Next up, we have Season 5. Now, this is the most hated season, probably, and this is the season that I feel like most of the fandom stopped watching on. So this season, basically, the reason it's this low is because, one, a lot of this season made Iris a bit like a Karen in this season. And also, it had too many fillers, and a lot of the fillers were bad. But some of the fillers were actually good. But overall, it's not a very great season, but at least it has, in my opinion, the best finale in the entirety of The Flash. Next up is The Flash Season 4. Now, this season is a great sequel to Season 3. Now, we're getting to the point here where I actually enjoy the seasons. Season 5 and Season 7, I think, Season 5 is okay, and Season 7 I am not a fan of. But we're getting to the seasons where I enjoy. And Season 4 is a season where if only it had less fillers, and if DeVoe wasn't such a boring villain. Now, that's very controversial. A lot of people love DeVoe, but in my opinion, he was a bit of a boring villain. But overall, it's a good season. It had some great plot points at the beginning, but also it is the season that started having these weird things happening. Like, you defeat the villain by going in his mind, taking someone out of it so that his body melts. This is when they started to turn the show into more of a weird show. Now, next up is one of my favorite seasons, Season 6. Sorry, I almost grabbed Season 8 there. So Season 6 is, in my opinion, a very good season. So, they start out the season with one of the best plot points in the whole show with blood work. I loved it. I loved almost every single thing about it, although some of it did seem a bit filler, and they did a good job at leading up to Crisis, and I feel like it was all handled very much well. The only reason it's not one spot up on this list is because the second half of the season was very mid and forgettable, and Evo was not a very good villain, and the finale sucked. But that's not the season's fault. That's because of COVID, so everything had to shut down. So it just gave it some bad circumstances, so it takes 5th place. Next up, we actually have Season 8, the newest installment in The Flash. Now, I actually really like this season. It starts out amazing and phenomenal with Armageddon, which is, in my opinion, one of the best crossover events, or I should just say events, on The Flash and in the Arrowverse. It's a very good event. It has a lot of interesting things going on in it, and it's just a very good start to the season. You get Reverse Flashback with another crazy scheme. They made me almost throw my phone when they said Joe was dead. They had a lot of surprising twists in it. And also it has the best episode in the season in Armageddon, which is episode 2 of Armageddon. And I feel like it's overall a really good season. The middle of the season was good. But the ending of the season was better than the middle section, but it was still a very good season of The Flash. Now next up is season 2. Now we're getting to the point where this is like 10 out of 10, S tier, God tier, whatever you want to call it. I love season 2. In my opinion, it is almost perfect. Zoom is a flawless villain. He's perfect, except he has some questionable motives, but overall, really good villain for this season. My only real complaint with it and why it's not second place is that it's a bit repetitive of season 1 of The Flash. They bring back another Wells into the show, and they keep doing this plot point on they meet a new guy to become the villain, and you have to stop a new metahuman each episode. It's very much filler, so I'm not going to put it higher up because it's a bit repetitive of season 1. But overall, it is, in my opinion, a great season of The Flash. Coming in second place is season 3. Now, in my opinion, this is a big improvement over season 2 because it takes the repetitiveness when it changes it up. Instead of just, we have to stop this metahuman who's harming the city. No, there's like an actual reason for their motives other than to just save the city. The villain had a very surprising twist, which is better than season 2's because they just introduced a new guy only for him to turn out to be evil. But with this, it's just the one guy all along and you have no idea. And it just handles it so well. And this season focuses the most on time travel, which is, I am a sucker for time travel. I love it. So this season takes second place. But coming in first place is The Flash Season 1. This season, in my opinion, is perfect. Everything is perfect. The fillers are actually really good in this season. The whole Reverse Flash stuff was awesome, although I feel like they told us a bit too early that Eobard Thawne was the Reverse Flash. The way they handled the finale, everything they did, in my opinion, just seemed perfect. The characters, they gave them really good arcs throughout the season, especially Eddie Thawne's. And overall, in my opinion, this is easily the best season of The Flash. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe and turn on notifications. And comment down below your ranking and what other videos you want to see.